Morning to everybody and welcome to Timeout. My name is Jack Vint and thank you for joining me this morning. I'm sure that as we've had our parole hearing and we've been released from lockdown, everybody is very grateful. And so this morning I want to share with you about the smoking gun. So don't tune out, hang in there, I'm going to get to it in a second. Now in South Africa, the two controversial things during all this time was the sale of alcohol and the sale of cigarettes. Now, as somebody that's never consumed alcohol in my life and never smoked, I want to say that I don't believe either one of those is healthy for us in any way. But it's just interesting that when it comes to people saying they're wanting to save our lives, that what they seemingly say and what they do don't seem to make sense. Now, the alcohol trade in South Africa is huge. And they say that every day, at least 160 people are killed in South Africa alone from alcohol-related causes. 60,000 a year. That's a lot of people. Now, when it comes to smoking, the issue is that there's legal cigarette sales and there's illegal cigarette sales. And they say, according to the stats, that the illegal cigarette sales are billions of rands worth of revenue. And so I was wondering, as I was reading this week, that apparently over 14 or 15 people had died from homemade alcohol concoctions. It could be even more now. I don't know what those people were thinking. Maybe they should know that you can't drink battery acid and still be healthy. But whatever that may be, I was wondering how many people haven't smoked some toxic weeds or grass and may have also overcome because they were desperate. So I was reminded myself of, because it sounds like a paradise story, about a fairy tale story, I should say, about the fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel and when they were lost in the forest. And I'm just summarizing it. They took little stones and they threw them as they were walking so they could find their way back. And what they didn't know is that there was a hungry fox that was following them, that just like they were wanting to go back that way, the fox knew which way to go to get them as well. But just be that as it may, it reminds me also of the fact that, if things don't make sense in life, you have to follow the money trail. Where do the pebbles lead you? And so if we follow the money trail, we will find that many of the illicit people that bring in cartels, smoking and cigarettes often are involved in really supporting, they say, many people in political positions. And so it becomes a very murky thing when you say, well, what is right and what is wrong? Now, I don't know about you, I've got my Western hat on, and if you've ever watched a good Western movie, there's always a gunslinger in there, and somebody ultimately is going to die. And you have this picture of the gunslinger challenging his totally nervous opponent and to a shootout at the corral, and they both stand aside and they're waiting now, and then the gunslinger shoots his opponent, and the opponent falls down in slow motion, and the gunslinger just takes his gun, as I said, and he blows the smoke away, like the smoking gun, and the poor opponent is hits the ground, and you just see dust rise up, and and blood oozing out onto the ground, and nearby there's this very, very nervous undertaker with his bowler hat, holding his hat, waiting to, not wanting to be shot. And as the guy falls down, he runs from behind the wine barrel, and he drags the body away, and puts it into his coffin, and buries the body before they can have an autopsy or a motive. And I was thinking the only people that in these Western movies that where the business is on the up are the undertakers. They everybody's saying, please don't bring the gunslinger to town because they're going to cause problems, but the undertakers are saying, please bring the gunslingers because we need to sell coffins and we need to do burials. And so although the undertakers business is down. It's deep down, but it's always up as far as revenue is concerned. And so there's always people that are benefiting from somebody's demise. And hence I'm saying the smoking gun today. But I want to just also end off with a little bit of a positive note. Now that everything, the smoke is settling, so to speak, excuse the pun, it's an opportunity, to think about the two people that I always say we can be excavators and we can be innovators. Excavators are people that dig holes because they've got a lot of stuff to bury, and they've got a lot of stuff they want to hide and cover up. But innovators also dig holes, but it's always to get to the bottom of things. And so it's fine to dig holes if you want to get to the bottom of things because you're trying to find a solution. So let's be the innovators in South Africa going forward, whether it's education, family, whether it's politics, finances. Let's trust to become innovative in ideas, to find solutions going forward, because we're going to really need that in our country. Our country is desperate for solutions. It's desperate for innovators. And you know where they all are? They're all living here in South Africa, ready to make a difference. And I believe that you are one of them, and encourage others that you speak to also be part of the solution and not the problem. Thank you this morning for listening and laughing with me. God bless you, and I'll see you next Saturday.